In the early days of your startup, the secret to success is not having a huge market. You need to go niche or go home. You need to be super focused. Let's unpack why after the boot. Welcome to Feel the Boot, the science of startups. I'm your host, Lance Cottrell, and I'm here to help you navigate that nearly vertical learning curve that you're going to encounter as you launch your business. I know what it's like. I have been there myself, and I've helped countless other founders along their journeys. And if you need some help, please get on my calendar at ftb.bz/advising, and I'd be happy to talk through any issues you may be having. You can also get this as a blog or a podcast if you prefer to read or listen on the go. And I encourage you to sign up for our newsletter, Boot Prints. That makes sure you get notified every time new episodes like this come out. As you launch your business, you're probably thinking about the promised land and selling to your entire total addressable market. But that's not where you need to be focusing from an execution point of view. So let's say you've got a product that appeals to mothers. So maybe you say that your target market is women between 20 and 35 who have children, and that's who your target market is. But that is incredibly vague. That covers people throughout the country, really throughout the world, in all sorts of different situations with different problems to address. And so it becomes very difficult to talk to them specifically because you have to be so generic. You might be much better off doing something like, I target women, new mothers, 30 to 35 in large urban areas who are upper income professionals, frequently buy healthy foods and supplements, and attend the gym at least once a week. This is a very specific description of a person. You can probably almost picture this individual in your mind, which means when you're trying to market to them, you really can speak directly to that person. One of the advantages of getting extremely niche and specific with your target market is it allows you to go after low-hanging fruit. Some parts of your total market at the end of the day are going to be much harder to sell to. Their need for your product won't be as desperate, and they may be more difficult to target through the tools you have available to you. So you want to look for those pieces of the market that do need it really badly, want to pay for it immediately, and are easy to reach. Get that low-hanging fruit so you can build momentum quickly before you start thinking about expanding to the broader market. When you tailor your message to an extremely narrow and specific target customer, they will hear it and it will resonate with them. They'll see themselves in your description, which means the response rates will tend to be much higher, which can lower your customer acquisition costs, your CAC. That improves the economics for your business at the beginning, which is really helpful because typically in the early stages, your unit economics are terrible. Anything you can do to improve that makes a huge difference. Narrowing down your target customer helps bring clarity to your product development roadmap. There could be 1,000 features that you might want to build at some point, but when you know exactly who you're trying to serve first, you're going to build the features that they need, that they can take advantage of immediately, and the other features can wait because this is what's going to get you customers today. This focus on a very narrowly targeted customer can also be a big part of your differentiation, where your competitors may be trying to market to absolutely everyone who could use this solution. The fact that you're only marketing to this narrow demographic allows you to speak directly to them and make it feel like your product specifically addresses their unique needs rather than this more generic solution the others are providing, even if in fact the offerings are effectively the same. Once you have a strongly established beachhead with that initial target demographic, you can start expanding into adjacent demographics, things that have a lot of similarities but expand the population of people you're going after. And you can repeat this for an extended period of time before you try to go after the entire potential market that you think would need your solution. It's a really effective way to eat the elephant one bite at a time. Before I start looking at how to identify the best possible niches to launch your business, I want to ask you to do a favor, and you know what it is. Like, subscribe, ring that bell, sign up for the newsletter because YouTube won't always tell you when new episodes come out, and that newsletter also gives you access to my free office hours. I also just created a new tool to help you see whether you're ready for fundraising. So if you're looking to raise funds from angel investors or VCs, Take a look at this. It'll tell you where your strengths are and where you may need to do some work before you start reaching out. So, you know you need a niche, and there are many possible niches within your market. How do you pick which one to go after first? There's a couple of strategies for that, each of which has its own specific advantages. The first one is going after bleeding edge early adopters, people who love taking risks, being the first one to use some new technology or buy some new product, and are willing to pay a premium for it. A great example would be people who bought the Tesla Roadsters in the very early days of the company. These were completely impractical cars and were absurdly expensive. But there was a group of people who thought they were super cool and wanted to support the idea of electric vehicles and were willing to pay up for that. And that generated the money the company needed to be able to go out and start making more and more mainstream kinds of vehicles. Another good option is to go after a tight, small community with high virality, a group of people who have a propensity to recommend solutions to each other and behave in a bit more of a herd way. This was used to great effect by Facebook. When they launched, they were only going after universities. They'd only launch at one university at a time, and the students wanted to recommend this solution to each other, to push each other to get on the platform. And so this allowed them to go after that very tightly defined and fairly small population early on, get the density they needed for their network effects before opening it up to the world at large. You might choose to go after a target audience that's particularly willing to give you feedback on their experiences with the solution. Because of course, as soon as people start using your solution, you're immediately going to discover all of the ways in which your intuition about what they needed and how they would use it turns out to be completely wrong. But if they're not willing to tell you about it, you're never going to know. So often going after small and medium businesses, or in fact other startups, those kinds of people are far more likely to be willing to engage and give you the feedback that you need than a buyer at some large corporate entity that you're trying to go into. And that feedback will help you optimize the solution so that later you're in a good position to go after those big fish. Or you might choose to go after underserved or untapped side markets or sub-markets within your target. So the market as a whole may be pretty well served by your competitors, but there may be subsections within it that are woefully underserved. They don't get a lot of benefit from the solutions that are out there. If you can hit them specifically, you have effectively a greenfield opportunity to take over that niche. Once you have then an established beachhead and a functioning business, you can start to try to undermine the competitors in the larger market. So the startup playbook really is: start with that super narrow target, own it, get a dominant position there, then start expanding into the larger space and grow the business. It's the safest, the most reliable, and the most cost-effective way to get your company to the scale you need it to be. If you've tried this, let me know how you defined your initial target niche market down in the comments. I think it'll be a great help for all the other founders here. Thanks for watching this episode. I hope you found it useful and interesting, and if so, do the usual: like, subscribe, ring that bell. If you're having challenges with your startup, let's talk. I've got several options, and you can find them all at this link, ftp.bz/advising. Now that you've found the target market that you want to go after, you might want to make sure that you're building the right thing for that market. If so, this might be a great video for you to check out. It's all about how to pivot your business before you even start building anything. Until next time, ciao.